Hi, we're here with the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. Now the Turbo S and the turbo beneath it are essentially the last of the V8s. Cayennes now come with V6s, you get them in hybrid, you get them in diesel flavor, but only these two models now are V8s. And of course, the Cayenne, this generation Cayenne, the second generation Cayenne, has been around with us since 2011. I suspect it's probably nearing the end of its life cycle, so this may well be the last hurrah for this sort of car. And why do I say hurrah? Because my God, is this thing quick. We're not joking when they say Turbo S. So this is a 4.8 litre V8. It produces 570 horsepower and 590 pounds-foot of torque from as little as 2,500 RPM. All wheels through an 8-speed Tiptronic transmission. Now, get this headline figure. 0 to 100. 0 to 100. 4.1 seconds. 4.1 seconds, that's supercar territory. Top speed 284 kilometers per hour. That is incredible performance from what is essentially a 5-door family SUV. Luxury SUV, but an SUV. This is what it's meant to do. You can carry your kids around in it, you can go to work and take them off picnicking if you like to somewhere like this place. So this is a good all-round car. Price though, there's another big headline figure for you. This car in basic form, the Turbo S I'm talking, 692,800 dirhams, that's $189,000. This particular car, which has been spec'd up with about 70,000 dirhams worth of options, is 761,000 dirhams, 710, $208,000. Oh my God. Now, you can go a little bit cheaper because you can go for a turbo. And the turbo starts at 552,000 dirhams, $142,000. Do you lose much in performance? Not a lot. You're still there in the very, very fast premium SUV segment, because that one has 520 horsepower and will do 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, or 4.4 with the sports chrono package, 279 kilometers per hour. Now, just to put that 4.4 into perspective, the top of the Range Rover Sport SVR, that's the latest beast that they're offering, is 4.5 seconds. So even the turbo will be quicker than the Range Rover SVR in Sports Chronos package. Now, I'm not going to get into the boot. I'll just show you those in edits, because, or get into the rear, I'll show you the boot, because this car has been around a while. So I think the main thing that we need to do today is get in and drive. So here we are in a very familiar environment. The key, of course, well, it's a keyless thing, but there's an artificial key there. So foot on the brake, turn it, there we go. Nice little graphic there. Let's turn the radio off. So all very, very familiar. You have your remotes on the steering as well. There's your volume and your phone, and on this side, of course, that will help you to scroll through nav, trip computer, active cruise control. You've got your sports chrono. It's got the stopwatch and stuff should you want to take it on the track. I don't think you can actually take these on the track. I know that at one time they did introduce SUV track days at the Autodrome, but I don't think they do that anymore. If I'm wrong, please do correct me, but I don't believe they do. Down here, an absolute profusion of buttons, massive. I mean, when you first get into this car, you're like, oh my God, how do I turn the AC on? There's just so many buttons here. And down here, I mean, look, there's all these buttons just to go into sports and off-road and the height control and on-road, off-road, and sports exhaust. This is good. I keep that on even when I'm driving around normally, because the exhaust sounds just so much. It sounds mental. It sounds like a muscle car, which is slightly odd because that's not a Porsche sound, but it does sound good. I quite like it. But then multiple ways of going into sports. So for the suspension, you've got Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and then you've got Sport, Sport. So Sport. These buttons basically affect everything, all together. Traction, lane keep. It's got auto stop start. It switches the car off. Funny thing about that, I noticed, is that it actually switches the car off even as you're coming to a halt at a traffic light. So even before you stop, it turns it off. So it's slightly alarming because you lose your power steering and you're like, what if something happened? You couldn't actually do very much until you lift off the brake and then it turns back on again. Typical nice leather seats. Decent sized cubby box there with one USB etc. 2 cup holders. Nowhere to put a phone. Nowhere to put a phone. This iPhone 6 Plus doesn't fit in here. It just flops around. That's too small. You know, I'd have to take that one out. Maybe I could put it there, but it's a tad inconvenient. I'll turn that off. I really don't need to show you too much in this car because, you know, this car has been around a while and we are all very, very familiar with it. So I'll put that away there. Let's put the belt on. And I'll just put the microphone here so it might be a little bit clearer. And what I'll do is I put the sports exhaust on, as you saw, but I'm going to go straight into Sports Plus. And just come off this little sandy bit here and onto a road. The road is dead straight, dead empty, nobody on this road, because I just want to show you this. Now, if you can for me, I'm going to say go, and then I want you to count seconds in your head. And let's see if it actually does 0 to 100 in 4.1 seconds. So, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. That's 100. Wowzers. I mean, it's not shock and awe quick, but it is gobsmacking, pin your head back quick. And of course, listen to the sound. That's an aggressive V8 muscle car. That sound like that's burbling and gurgling. That sounds quite crude for a Porsche, which sounds kind of dirty and naughty. I quite like it. But what's going on? But you know, the other thing is, of course, I had all this vectoring stuff and all this sort. So you can go there, you can do this, round this corner, on the throttle, for an SUV, very little body roll, very good body control. Gears are changing themselves. They are in fully automatic, 8-speed Tiptronic, as we said, but we do have paddles here as well. And if I switch it across, I can use the paddles. There you go, because it wasn't changing up, as you noticed there, because it was in full sports mode there. And you know, even in sports mode, the ride is very good. You know, this car has big old wheels on it, but the ride is very good. The ride is better if I put it into normal mode. And it's just a slight brittleness that you get, the slight jitteriness that you get, smooths itself out. It becomes a little bit more pogo-y, if you like, or just a bouncy a little bit more, but otherwise it's fine. Putting it back into Sports Plus, there is of course an interim sports mode, but you know what, if you're gonna go sports, then just go all the way. Good brakes on this car, very confidence inspiring for a big thing, and decent turn, and a little bit of understeer. There's a fraction, I would say, but you can power through it. Very, very impressive. I mean, the body lean tells you that you're in an SUV, but otherwise, you know, the response, the grip, the confidence you get from the wheel is very, very good for an SUV. So this, you know, it's a great SUV. Now, this put into sports, put into Sports Plus, you just get a little bit more of an instant response from the gearbox, but quite frankly, you know, either drive it normal or drive it in Sports Plus. In normal, it doesn't feel as aggressive, as eager. You know, it doesn't feel like it wants to just snap and charge and barge everywhere. It's a bit more refined, more comfortable, and you know, it becomes the normal car, normal family luxury SUV that it is, and you can just drive it around town, go to work, whatever, and it's absolutely fine. Happy, happy, happy. But then, you know, put into Sports Plus, floor it. Oh my God! And you come up to junction, brakes. I mean, I'm hanging on my seatbelt. I'm hanging on my seatbelt. And of course, the ground clearance, speed bump here. Normally, I would worry about it in any other car. I can also go off on the sand just a little bit to go around the other speed bump. You know, I mean, it gives you the best of several worlds. This car. So, you know, this Cayenne Turbo, when it came out in 2011. I actually thought it was the best looking of the Cayennes that we'd had thus far, and I still maintain that. I still think I quite like the looks of this thing, but it maybe lost some of the machismo of the previous car, perhaps. But to me, it was a better car in terms of its look and in terms of its drive. Now, are you sensing a hesitation in my voice? Yes, you probably are, because there is one. And the reason for that is very simple. And it's not this blistering, pin you back in your seat performance that you have, the incredible grip, the great handling, the fantastic luxury, but there's two other things. The first of which is that the fact that there are so many buttons here, the fact that this design is as it is, the fact that there is no surround view, for example. There's a reversing camera and there are sensors, but there's no 360 view. Considering all of that, taking all of that into mind, there is a great Bose system and all the rest. You get a good load of kit in there and stuff, but considering all of that, considering the price, nearly 700,000 dirhams, the car is feeling its age. This to me is the issue. It's feeling its age, and also I cannot justify that price. I think there's lots of great new SUVs that have come out. Yes, this probably is the king of the hill. I think it pretty much is. I can't think of another car that does. I mean, you know, they're all down in the 4.5 second mark, all of its rivals, but I don't know if anything gets as close to 4 seconds as this thing does. 4 seconds, let me say that again. I can't believe it myself. But you know, but they are good, those cars, and they are more modern, they're newer, and you know, let's be honest, the Range Rover Sport, which really wasn't in this real category before, despite the sport badge that it had, the new one has caught up. It's there, you know. And then you've got the Mercs, the AMGs, and then you've got the X5, X6 Duo with the impacts. And they're pretty good to drive. The handling is almost as good, if not as good as this. So there are other cars that are newer, fresher, and in the case of, for example, the Grand Cherokee SRT, and rumor has it a Hellcat engined version, which I think would give this car a real run for its money in terms of the performance, but would probably be less than half the price of this car. So that's my hesitation. Still a great car, still an amazing performing car, a real eye-opener when it comes to SUV performance and handling, but I think, you know, getting on a bit and a little bit expensive for what it is. So if you like it, if you love it, if you wanted one of these, get it. You know, go in there, you know, bargain hard, get yourself a bit of a discount. But if you just want a fast SUV, then look around a little bit before you make your decision. Let me know what you think. You can do that in the comments below or through our multiple social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Motoring Middle East. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment there as well. And please do subscribe. So again, just search Motoring Middle East on YouTube. And we are also on Gear One television. So if you have access to that, you can catch us on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock and again on Wednesdays at 9. Thanks so much for watching this review. Until the next one. This is a sound check, Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. This is a line, could be from a movie or TV program. Where is this line from? Have a dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.